the Planning Commission meeting of Monday, September 9th, 2024 to order. And we will, at 6:30, and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'll ask Commissioner Lee, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Jackie, can we call the roll, please?
Chair Schwartz.
Here.
Vice Chair Kratman. Here. Commissioner Lee. Here. Commissioner McMorris.
Here.
And Commissioner Carney.
Here.
Thank you.
Tonight's meeting is live streamed on cable channel 3 and all our online platforms. To prevent any overlapping comments, each commissioner will be called on to speak on each item. Now it's time for public comment. This is the opportunity for members of the public to address the commission on items that are within our purview but not on the agenda tonight. Because it's not on the agenda, the commission would not be able to answer any questions or make any comments unless it's on a future agenda. Each person has 3 minutes, and there are speaker cards in the lobby area on the table if you want to speak. So now is an opportunity for those public comments on things not on the agenda. Jackie, have we received anything by email?
Chair, we did not receive any.
Okay. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, the public comment period, excuse me, and go to the minutes for the August 12th meeting. So, has everybody looked at these?
Chair, I have a comment regarding the minutes.
Yes.
Item number C, planning case GPA 24-002. The motion that I made last week was to strike out, I believe, a language that was presented to us. So it was supposed to be a modified, not just we are motion approved as presented. It wasn't a motion approved with the presented. It was with a modification.
Well, that's absolutely, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. There was a change in the resolution in that regard. That's a very good point. Ground floor.
The frontage to the Valley Boulevard.
Yes, so
ground
noted.
floor office.
Thank you, Commissioner Lee.
So, do we see this? You see this one?
Yes, and also a correction to the action on the minutes of July 15th.
Right.
Let the record reflect that Chair Schwartz was present at the meeting, so that will also be corrected, Chair.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Anything else regarding the minutes? Okay. Can we have a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to approve as amended.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay. Can we have a roll call, please?
Chair Schwartz,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kratman, Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
Commissioner McMorris,
Yes.
and Commissioner Carney.
Yes.
The vote is 4-0, one abstention. Motion passed.
Okay, tonight is a busy night. We have 4 items that are public hearing items. And before we start on those, I'm going to ask Planning Manager Trussart to go over the public hearing procedures for tonight.
Yes, thank you, Chair, members of the commission. Copies of tonight's agenda are available on the city's website at www.sangabrielcity.com. And as mentioned, also on the table that is by the entrance. If you wish to speak on an item this evening and are not the project applicant, please complete a speaker card and submit the card to the recording secretary, which is Jackie this evening. And the speaker cards are available by the entrance. Please write down the item number that you would like to speak on. And speakers will be called up one by one to the podium during the public hearing portion of each item, and each speaker will be given up to 3 minutes to speak. As mentioned, there are 4 public hearing items this evening, and the format for each item, staff will provide a brief summary of the staff report, followed by any clarifying questions from the commission. Then the public hearing will be open. The applicant will be provided the opportunity to present if there is a presentation or to be available for questions. And then the public hearing portion will be closed, but prior to the close of the public hearing, the commission may ask additional questions of staff or the applicant. But once the public hearing is closed, the opportunity for public comment has ended, and the commission will move into deliberation. So with that, Chair, staff is ready to present item 3A.
Thank you. The first item is planning case number 24005, conditional use permit at 368 West Valley Boulevard, Unit 108. The applicant is America Besttrin, Inc. And Marlon, you're ready to go.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Schwartz and members of the Planning Commission. The public hearing item before you tonight is for a conditional use permit to allow for the on-site sale and consumption of beer and wine with a Type 41 alcoholic beverage control license at a proposed new restaurant located at 368 West Valley Boulevard, Unit 108, planning case CUP 24-005. The proposed project is located in a new mixed-use development at the south side of Valley Boulevard between Abbott Avenue to the east and New Avenue to the west. The subject property is located in the mixed-use corridor zone of the Valley Boulevard Specific Plan area and has a general plan land use designation of Commercial Specific Plan. The restaurant is proposing to locate in Unit 108 of the Commercial Shopping Center. The interior space of the restaurant measures approximately 4,624 square feet and is currently in building plan check for tenant improvements. Cuisine number 1 is a full-service restaurant that will offer traditional Chinese-style cuisine. A restaurant menu has been provided as attachment C to the staff report. Hours of operation for the restaurant are Monday through Sunday from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., which comply with the city's regulations regarding alcohol service. The restaurant will serve full meals during business hours and does not propose any live entertainment. San Gabriel Municipal Code Section 153.162 states that in determining whether to approve a CUP application for alcoholic beverage sales, the Planning Commission shall consider the nature and use of real property within 500 feet of the use, and in particular, the location of similar nearby uses and the location of residences, parks, schools, and churches. The proposed business is located within the previously approved mixed-use development. The properties directly to the north and south of the project site are zoned MUC and are a mix of commercial shopping centers, single-family homes, and multifamily residences. Properties to the east and west are also zoned MUC and feature a variety of commercial uses, including restaurants, medical and dental clinics, and a bank. Conditions of approval to prevent loitering and late-night operating hours have been included, as well as the requirement that at least 2 staff members are on site during normal business hours. Planning staff and the San Gabriel Police Department have included additional conditions of approval included as Attachment A, Exhibit 1, to ensure that the proposed use will be compatible and harmonious with its surrounding uses. Conditions of approval include the limitation of business hours to no later than 12 a.m. midnight, that alcoholic beverages shall only be sold in conjunction with food, and that management shall take appropriate measures to ensure the patrons and employees do not disturb neighbors. Additionally, the police department is requiring the installation of video surveillance systems and a centrally monitored alarm system that management, and that management shall immediately notify the San Gabriel Police Department of any crimes that occur inside the location or in any areas under the control of management, or to any patrons of the location or at the request of any patrons of the location. The general plan land use designation is commercial specific plan. This land use designation allows all uses permitted by the general commercial designation, including retail, service, office, recreation/amusement, and other commercial businesses which provide goods and services for the local population, and those businesses which are targeted towards visitors and commuters. The proposed use also supports the following goals of the city's general plan, economic goal 4.1 and 4.2. Cuisine number 1 offers a unique seafood dish, a unique Chinese-style cuisine that would benefit from the addition of alcoholic beverages to be served to complement the dining experience. Additionally, the restaurant will create additional opportunities for San Gabriel residents to dine locally and provide access to unique dining experiences. In addition to the required findings for the issuance of a conditional use permit, a finding of public convenience and necessity is also required due to the subject site being in a census tract that is determined to be overconcentrated by the Department of Alcoholic Beverage Controls. The threshold in this census tract is 4. 19 licenses currently exist in this census tract. A list of those census tracts has been included as an attachment to the report as well. The project was reviewed for compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act. The project is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act per guidelines section 15301 class 1 for existing facilities. The item was noticed at the project site, advertised in the August 29th, 2024 edition of the San Gabriel Sun, and a notice was sent to all property owners and tenants within a 500-foot radius. Tonight's agenda was also posted at City Hall, the post office, and the public library. Finally, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of San Gabriel, California, approving planning case number CUP 24-005 for a conditional use permit at 368 West Valley Boulevard, number 108, to allow for the on-site sale and consumption of beer and wine, and grant the determination of public convenience and necessity at a proposed restaurant subject to the recommended conditions of approval. That concludes the presentation.
Thank you. Any questions of staff on this item?
Just a quick question, Marlon. So your recommendation for adoptions is consistent with the previous recommendations that we approved?
Yes.
So meaning like the density, alcohol density, and then police approvals, requirements from the police departments, and so on?
Yeah, those conditions of approval are fairly standard for a restaurant serving beer and wine license, or serving beer and wine with food.
Okay. And then the serving for daily serving hours, are this consistent with the previous one?
Yeah. The police has conditioned it, police department has conditioned until midnight, but their operating hours end at 11, so it'll be before what the condition of approval is for.
Okay, thank you. Chair, no further.
Thank you. Anybody else have questions? Okay, is the applicant present?
The applicant is present,
Let
yes.
me open the public hearing on this item, and let's hear from the applicant first, please.
Sure.
Good evening, Planning Commission. My name is Raul Cueva. I work with the liquor license agents. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, America Besttrin Incorporated, doing business as Cuisine Number 1. The applicant's applying for a conditional use permit to dispense beer and wine for on-site consumption. And it's also in conjunction with a restaurant with a 4,040 square foot. The restaurant is a traditional Chinese restaurant serving good food with quality ingredients and friendly service. The addition of alcohol sales is requested as an incidental use. The restaurant offers their full menu throughout its business hours And individuals cannot order alcohol unless they order a meal. It's just, it won't be allowed. Each employee will be trained with proper procedures on how to identify IDs, how to identify intoxicated patrons. This is a family-oriented restaurant. They're not looking to serve, a lot of alcohol. It's just everyone show up, eat their meal, have a couple beers or wine, and go about their day. So it's not a bar. It's not a bar scene at all. Each employee will be trained with RBS training, which is the training that ABC offers. Everyone will be required to take the online training and be certified. That is one of the conditions that ABC has set. The applicant is looking to create an enjoyable experience for his guests by keeping it a family-oriented restaurant where family and friends can share meals. And also, it's a secondary feature, so it's not a primary feature of the restaurant. It's just to complement any meals that any customers may order. And I'm here to respectfully request your approval and answer any questions you may have.
The question we always ask in this situation is, have you read you and the owner, the recommendations, conditions of approval, and are you comfortable with that?
Yes, the customer has agreed to the conditions set by the commission and by the PD.
Okay, well, thank him for choosing San Gabriel.
You guys are great to work with. I was just telling Marlon, your city is really user-friendly, I guess you can say, for sure.
We appreciate that.
Thank you, guys.
Information, thank you. Okay. Anybody have any questions of the applicant? Okay, thank you. This is the public hearing portion, so is there anybody else who wants to speak on this item? Okay, seeing none, we'll close.
I want to speak on an item, but not that one.
Okay, but we're on this one, so, okay, thank you. Okay, then we'll close the public hearing on this item and hear from commissioners. Well, I'll go first on this one. This is from our standpoint, a standard request and a real positive that a new restaurant is coming into our community. And I think we want to be able to support that with the beer and wine license. They're only open till 9 o'clock at night, so it's not going to be a late night place, relatively speaking. So I think it's worthwhile to support this application. Anyone else like to hear from the rest of the commission?
I agree with what you've said.
Yeah, no, I think that this is sounds like a good restaurant, and I'm glad that you're going to be operating in the city. And one of the draws, I think, of San Gabriel is our restaurant scene, and in particular, the variety and choice of various Asian type cuisine. So I think it will do very well here.
Okay. Everybody's good? Then, anybody else want to speak on this?
I can move to approve.
Okay, excellent, thank you.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Can we have a roll call, please?
Chair Schwartz,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kratman,
Yes.
Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
Commissioner McMorris,
Yes.
and Commissioner Carney.
Yes.
The vote is 5-0. Motion passed.
Thank you. Welcome to San Gabriel. Okay, the next item is planning case number T-map 24-004, tentative parcel map 84329. The address is 705 Agostino Road, and the applicant is Eric Tsang. And is Christine here tonight?
I'll be presenting on behalf of Christine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The public hearing item before you tonight is tentative parcel map to allow for a 4-unit condominium subdivision located at 705 Agostino Road, planning case number T-map 24-004. The proposed project is located on the northeast corner of Agostino Road and South Pine Street, which can be seen on the aerial map provided here. The subject property is zone R3 and measures 7,500 square feet. The property is currently developed with a multiple family residence and detached 3-car garage. All structures are proposed to be demolished for the construction of the project. In the R3 zone, San Gabriel Municipal Code allows for a density of 1 residential unit per 1,742 square feet of floor area. Based on the lot size, a maximum of 4 residential units are allowed on the property. As shown on the site plan, the proposed tentative parcel map would create 4 condominium units for the purpose of individual sale of each unit. Vehicular access to the property is proposed from Agostino Road to the south for units B and C, Pine Street to the west for unit A, and an alley to the east for unit D. Pedestrian access will be provided via walkways leading from the sidewalk along Agostino Road. The proposed 4-unit condominium project meets or exceeds each of the development standards set forth in the San Gabriel Municipal Code, as can be seen on the development standards table here. The proposed building measures 28 feet in height from the average natural grade, covers 37% of the natural lot size, and provides a total of 4,360 square feet of total open space in the form of ground-level patios and rooftop decks. The San Gabriel Municipal Code exempts multifamily projects of 4 units or less from Design Review Commission approval. However, it does require that the city architect and landscape architect review the proposal for consistency with the City of San Gabriel design guidelines for multifamily developments. The city architect has found the proposed design to be composed in a contemporary architectural style with a good use of accent materials, and that the project is consistent with other recently approved multifamily developments in the surrounding area. The subject property has a general plan land use designation of high-density residential, which allows for the construction of multifamily units. The proposed development is in line with the general plan housing goal 2.1 to expand the supply of housing in accordance with the land use designations and policies in the general plan land use element, and housing goals 2.2 to promote and encourage the provision of adequate housing to meet the needs of the community. The proposed project was reviewed for compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act and was determined to be exempt per guidelines section 15332, class 32 for infill development. On August 29th, a notice regarding the public hearing for this project was mailed to all property owners and tenants within a 500-foot radius of the project site, posted on the project site, and published in the August 29th, 2024 edition of the San Gabriel Sun. Additionally, the meeting agenda was also posted at City Hall and on the city's website. Subdivision Map Act Section 66473 requires that the City of San Gabriel deny approval of a tentative map if it is able to make any of the required findings for denial. Based on the proposed application, staff is unable to make any of the findings for denial, being that 1, that the proposed use is consistent with the general plan, 2, that the site is adequate in size, shape, topography, and location to accommodate the proposed use, 3, that there will be adequate street access to and from the site for the proposed use, and that the proposed use will not create hazardous traffic conditions, that the proposed use is compatible with surrounding properties and uses, and that the proposed use is not detrimental to public health, safety, and general welfare. With that, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of San Gabriel, California, approving planning case number T-map 24-004 for a tentative parcel map at 705 Agostino Road for a proposed 4-unit condominium, subject to the recommended conditions of approval. That concludes the presentation.
This is an interior lot, sort of?
I believe this one's a corner lot.
Okay. What do we do? How do we handle construction, dust, and noise vis-à-vis the neighbors, the neighboring residents?
I don't know the code section exactly off the top of my head, but the municipal code has specific noise, dust, and odor mitigation measures, which I believe have been included as conditions of approval.
Okay, thank you. Other questions of staff?
Oh, yes, Chair, I have a couple confirmation questions.
Sure.
So, Marlene, for this one, are they requesting any exemptions?
No exemptions, no. They're compliant with all the development standards.
Okay. Is there any trees or any landscape that staff already confirmed to save or to preserve?
You'll have to forgive me. I'm not super familiar with the project, and I don't have the landscape plan in front of me. I don't think there's anything about that in the architectural design and landscaping section. Sorry, I'm looking at the proposed site plan right now.
Landscape plan, actually.
I believe the architect might be able to answer that question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No further, Chair.
Anybody else have questions of staff? Okay,
One question.
go ahead, please.
Are the existing buildings occupied?
I don't know. We can ask the architect that as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, let's open the public hearing and hear from the applicant and their staff, whoever.
Hi, good evening, Chair and member of the Planning Commission. My name is Eric Tsang. I'm the architect for this project, and I'm also representing the owner tonight. First, we have reviewed all the conditions of approval and has no question about it. And I'm here to answer any questions. I would like to answer the questions that has been brought up already. First, regarding the tenants, currently there are tenants that's living on site right now. And they are being notified about this project by the noticing that the city sent out, and also the poster that we post in front of the building. Second, we have a landscape plan on the set of plan L-1, which shows all the existing trees that will remove and any new any new proposed tree that we're proposing for this project. So there are a total of 7 trees that we're removing for this project, for this development. Is there only 2 questions, or? Sorry.
To follow up, what's our city guidelines regarding removing the trees and replanting those?
So I believe it requires an arborist report to be done, and the city will review it and let us know like how many replacement tree that we need to propose for this project. For example, we have on the landscape plan for this project, we have total of 10 replacement trees. 3 of those is 36-inch box, and 7 of those is 24-inch box. And they are proposed, they're spread out evenly on site. We have 1 along Pine Street, 2 along Agostino Road, 1 along the alley. No, actually 4 in the back of the lot. Yeah, but it's clearly shown on the landscape plan that was provided. Yeah.
No further, Chair.
Anyone else have questions for the architect? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
This is the public hearing portion. Does anybody else want to speak on this item tonight? Okay, if we've received a comment, please.
We received one comment via email, and it's from the California Housing Defense Fund. It says here, Dear San Gabriel Planning Commission, Cal HDF submits this letter to remind the commission of its duty to abide by all state housing laws when evaluating the proposed 4-unit housing development project at 705 Agostino Road. These laws include the Housing Accountability Act, or HAA, and CEQA guidelines. The HAA provides the project legal protections. It requires approval of zoning and general plan compliant housing development projects unless findings can be made regarding specific, objective, written health and safety hazards. The HAA also bars cities from imposing conditions on the approval of such projects that would reduce the project's density unless, again, such written findings are made. As a development with at least 2/3 of its area devoted to residential uses, the project falls within the HAA's ambit, and it complies with local zoning code and the city's general plan. The HAA's protections therefore apply, and the city must not reject the project, except based on health and safety safety standards as outlined above. Additionally, the project is exempt from state environmental review under Class 32 CEQA categorical exemption, infill development projects, pursuant to Section 15332 of the CEQA guidelines. As the project is consistent with the applicable general plan designation and all applicable general plan policies, as well as the applicable zoning designation and regulations. The proposed development occurs within city limits on a project site of no more than 5 acres, substantially surrounded by urban uses. The project site has no value as habitat for endangered, rare, or threatened species. Approval of the project would not result in any significant effects relating to traffic, noise, air quality, or water quality, and the site can be adequately served by all required utilities and public services. And recent case law from the California Court of Appeal affirms that local governments err and may be sued when they improperly refuse to grant a project a CEQA exemption or streamlined CEQA review to which it is entitled. As you are well aware, California remains in the throes of a statewide crisis-level housing shortage. New housing such as this is a public benefit. It will enhance the city's tax base, it will bring new customers to local businesses, and it will help address the shortage of housing in the city. While no single housing development can solve all these problems, this project is a step in the right direction. Cal HDF urges the city to approve the project, consistent with both its legal obligations and the community's economic and environmental interests. Cal HDF is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation whose mission includes advocating for increased access to housing for Californians at all income levels, including low-income households. You may learn more about Cal HDF on their website. Sincerely, Dylan Casey, Cal HDF Executive Director, and James Lloyd, Cal HFD Director of Planning and Investigations.
Thank you. We will close the public hearing and have commission discussion and deliberation. So, who would like to begin on this project?
I think new housing on Agostino would be great. And at least from the pictures that were shown, the existing housing on the property is pretty in disrepair.
So Chair,
Thank you. Go ahead.
the proposal is, I think, inconsistent with the neighborhood. It is a R3 zone. It is in compliance with the city general plan, so I support the project.
Okay, good.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to just agree with the comment that was made earlier. The existing property, I drove by it the other day. I agree, this could only be an improvement. I'm inclined to support this.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, just one clarification. I didn't hear the architect clearly enough. The housing units that are currently there, they're not occupied. Is that correct? They are occupied. Okay, so but they then, is there any, I guess, what's their situation? They're told they have to leave by a certain time, or they've already sold the property, I'm assuming, yes, right?
So there's a procedure of notifying the current tenants on site to work with them on probably relocation or ask them to find another place to rent. That's going to be handled by the manager for the rental.
So the manager who's currently managing the building then
Yes.
will be.
Mhm. We'll be contacting the tenants in advance of the project being constructed, because we still need to go through the building department plan check, which will take around 6 months.
Okay.
So usually they'll let the tenant know like 3 months.
Yeah. I guess my question is, letting them know is one thing, but is there any obligation to provide them with assistance to relocate, or is it just they have to be given a notice and, you know?
To my knowledge, I don't think City of San Gabriel has a housing, like a ordinance or.
State law, does state law require, but I mean, maybe this is a question for our lawyer, does state law mandate any particular assistance in this regard?
There are circumstances where relocation assistance is mandated. I just don't know enough facts about this. This is just a map that's before us. It's not the project, so it's very hard for me to be able to say based on what's in front of us. This is not the entire project, just the map. So I can't say. But yes, those possibilities do exist.
All right. And is there, I guess then this is leading up to my question, is there any way that we can request that, you assist them in relocation? I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean providing them with money to relocate, unless state law mandates it, but providing them with resources, things like that, to navigate how to better, find a new dwelling place, especially if, any of the folks are low income.
I believe that would be a question for the city staff. If there's going to be possible to add a condition to it, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I just don't want to leave these residents high and dry if they are having trouble. That's just, but I don't know if we have
It wouldn't be an appropriate condition for a tentative tract map, which is, again, all that's before us, which is fairly ministerial in its nature.
Okay.
So to be adding conditions or conditioning the approval of a map on such things, I think would be inappropriate and put the map in jeopardy.
Okay, I don't want to do anything like that. But then, when that would have been appropriate, has that time passed? Or is that would come before us again when?
It depends on what other approvals are submitted on the project in its entirety. I'd have to defer to planning or the applicant on that.
Okay.
This is just a parcel subdivision.
Well, I just request that the applicant would do what they can to provide any kind of assistance to the folks that are there, to help them prepare and get ready to leave and find another place. So even if you're not under any legal obligation, I think just a good thing to do. So I'd encourage you to do that. Hopefully everyone will be able to find a new place. So.
Yes, I agree. I will convey this message to the owner.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're otherwise supportive of the map, I assume. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And I as well. I think it's pretty straightforward in this particular case, the map. And so I will recommend approval of planning case T-map 24-004, tentative parcel map 84329.
I will second.
Okay, can we have a vote? Can we have a roll call, please?
Chair Schwartz,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kratman,
Yes.
Commissioner McMorris,
Yes.
Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
and Commissioner Carney.
Yes.
The vote is 5-0, motion passed.
Okay, thank you. The next item is, hold on a second. Okay, there we go. Is planning case number T-map 24-005, tentative partial map 84495. Cases, the address is 1346 Elm Avenue, and the applicant is Eric Tsang. And Marlon, you get to go again.
Thank you, Chair. Members of the Planning Commission, the public hearing item before you tonight is for a tentative tract map to allow for a 9-unit condominium subdivision located at 1346 Elm Avenue, planning case number T-map 24-005. The proposed project site is located on the south side of Elm Avenue between North Burton Avenue to the west and North Muscatel Avenue to the east, which can be seen on the aerial map provided here. The subject property is zoned R3 for multiple family residences and measures 18,477 square feet. The property is currently developed with multiple family residences and has a detached 3-car garage. All structures are proposed to be demolished for the construction of the project. In the R3 zone, St. Gabriel Municipal Code allows for a density of 1 residential unit per 1,742 square feet of floor area. Based on the lot size, a maximum of 10 residential units are actually allowed on the property. As shown on the site plan, the proposed tentative tract map would create 9 condominium units for the for the purposes of individual sale of each unit. Vehicular access to the property is proposed from Elm Avenue to the north for each of the 9 units. Pedestrian access will be provided via walkways leading from the sidewalk to the sides of each of the units there. The proposed 9-unit condominium project meets or exceeds each of the development standards set forth in the St. Gabriel Municipal Code, as can be seen on the development standards table here. The proposed building measures 35 feet in height from the average natural grade, covers approximately 38% of the total lot size, and provides a total of 12,000 square feet of total open space in the form of ground level open space and rooftop decks. The St. Gabriel Municipal Code requires multifamily projects of 4 units or more to also obtain Design Review Commission approval. The city architect and landscape architect have reviewed the proposal for consistency with the City of St. Gabriel design guidelines for multifamily developments and found that the proposed design to be designed in a Spanish architectural style in a manner that is consistent with the design guidelines. The precise plan of design application will be reviewed by the Design Review Commission at a later date. The subject property has a general plan land use designation of high-density residential, which allows for the construction of multifamily units. The proposed project is in line with the general plan housing goal 2.1 to expand the supply of housing in accordance with the land use designations and policies in the general plan land use element, and housing goal 2.2 to promote and encourage the provision of adequate housing to meet the needs of the community. The proposed project was reviewed for compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act and was determined to be exempt per guideline section 15332, class 32 for infill development. Technical studies relating to traffic, air quality, greenhouse gases, and noise were prepared by a city-selected environmental consultant, Michael Baker International, and submitted to the city for review. The city and the environmental consultant concluded that the proposed project would meet the conditions required for a class 32 categorical exemption. On August 29th, a notice regarding the public hearing for this project was mailed to all property owners and tenants within a 500-foot radius of the project site, posted on the project site, and published in the August 29, 2024 edition of the St. Gabriel Sun. Additionally, the meeting agenda was also posted at City Hall, at the public library, and on the city's website. Subdivision Map Act, Section 66473 requires that the City of St. Gabriel deny approval of the tentative tract map if it is unable to make any of the required findings for, based on the proposed application, staff is unable to make any of the findings for denial. One, that the proposed use is consistent with the general plan. Two, that the site is adequate in size, shape, topography, and location to accommodate the proposed use. Three, that there will be adequate street access to and from the site for the proposed use, and that the proposed use will not create hazardous traffic conditions. Four, that the proposed use is compatible with the surrounding properties and uses. And five, that the proposed use is not detrimental to the public health, safety, or general welfare. With that, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of St. Gabriel, California, approving planning case number TMAP 24-005 for a tentative tract map at 1346 Elm Avenue for proposed 9-unit condominium, subject to the recommended conditions of approval. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Now, we talked about construction process on the other project, the first, but this is an interior lot.
Mhm.
And basically, the street is Elm Avenue.
Mhm.
So it means all of the demolition and all of the construction trucks,
Mhm.
any grading, whatever has to be done, all comes on Elm Avenue.
Right.
We've determined that that's adequate for that.
Public Works has reviewed their conceptual grading plan, or excuse me, preliminary grading plan and found it to be adequate.
Okay. They're not concerned about
No.
interior construction noise or traffic, or the getting in and on Elm Avenue.
Not beyond the conditions of approval that were added.
Okay, thank you. Questions of staff?
So Marlene, the same questions. So just a confirmation, no exemption is requested for this project?
Correct. This one is also consistent with the development standards. They're actually requesting one less unit than what they're allowed. The density allows for 10 units. They're only proposing 9.
Okay. And from the Google map, I saw a few trees on the lot.
Mhm.
Has the city staff kind of like indicated those are protected trees or not?
I would have to review an arborist report if there's one attached. Doesn't look like there is one, I'm sorry. I believe the architect can clarify that.
Okay, they will find out. Okay, all right. No further, Chair.
Okay. Go ahead. Are there anybody else have questions of staff? Okay. Let us open the public hearing and hear from the applicant.
Good evening again. Regarding the tree bus project, we have an arborist report that is prepared by an arborist and submitted to the city and reviewed by the landscape architect. There are a total of 17 trees on the site. None of those are protected. Most of the trees are called Tree of Heaven, which has very small branches and trunk. All the pictures of the trees are included in the arborist report, which I think is attached to the package that was submitted to the city. So you probably have it. Yeah, hope that answers your question.
Well, how many trees then will be removed and
Oh.
how many trees will be replaced?
So total of, let's see. Total of 16 trees will be removed. And we have 4 new 36-inch box tree and 15 24-inch box tree as a replacement. Again, none of the existing tree on site is protected. It's identified by the arborist, and if you look at the pictures, they're not in good shape, so, yeah.
And then I've got the same question I had last time. Are the current buildings occupied?
Yes, yes. Mm. And they're notified, yeah, about this project.
These ones are multifamily. Are these our rental properties then that people are, or they're single-family units? Or, I guess?
Currently?
Yeah,
Currently, there's 3 units on site.
3 units. Okay.
Yes. And then we are replacing it with a 9-unit condominium project, which can be sold separately.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm.
So just my same.
Got it, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else of the applicant, architect? All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, this is a public hearing. Does anybody want to speak about this item? It is in- Okay, do
Chair
we
Schwartz?
we have a comment, same comments?
We received 2 for this item.
Okay.
The first one was sent by Mr. Andrew Chen. He's a resident, and he does not support the project. And he stated, "This street is overcrowded, and we do not need another 9 condos on this lot, as it will disrupt our peace and worsen our standard of living." The second one is from the same agency, Cal HDF, or California Housing Defense Fund. And
Is it?
the comment is similar to the first one that the agency sent for the,
For the 4-unit
for the
project?
4-unit project, and they're stating the same, same message for the proposed 9-unit housing development at 1346 Elm.
So there's no legal requirement that we read their anybody's comments at all. That's an internal policy that we're following. So my recommendation, if it's the same letter, would just be to provide a copy to the board and let them know it's the same.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we will close the public hearing and have commissioner discussion and deliberation. So who would like to be in on this item?
I'll go ahead and begin.
Okay, Vice Chair, please.
I like the design of this building. It's nice. And, we're getting more housing, which we need. So that checks a few boxes. So I'm in favor of the project.
Okay, thank you.
So Chair,
Go ahead, Commissioner Lee, please.
the project seems to be consistent with the neighborhood in that area. We hear the residents concerned about having too many people in the neighborhood, on the block, but it is consistent with what the general plan is, so I'm in support of the project.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate all of the public comments and thank them for writing in. And, I hear them. We do need housing, though, and this is something that every city in this entire area and most of the state we have to do. So while I understand they may not prefer more housing in their area, we do need to provide more housing for everyone in this area. And, this is an improvement from 3 units to 9, and I support it.
I think the important thing to be is it's consistent with the existing use of the area. It's not like they're tearing down a bunch of single-family homes and replacing them. So on that basis, I support it also.
Okay. And I support it as well. It, again, meets all the standards. And that's certainly a plus. I only am worried about dust and potential noise as on an interior lot during construction, but they'll have to meet the city's code requirements in that regard, so, okay. Anybody want to make a motion on this?
I move to approve.
Okay, thank you,
I'll second.
thank you. Let's have a roll call, please.
Chair Schwartz,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kratman,
Yes.
Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
Commissioner McMorris,
Yes.
and Commissioner Carney.
Yes.
The vote is 5-0. Motion passed.
Thank you. Okay, the next item is 405 South Delmar Avenue, planning case number GPA 24001. Zone ZC 24-002, density bonus and street vacation, plus the general plan amendment, zone change. So, the applicant is Related Companies of California, LLC, and the presentation will be made by the planning manager.
Yes, thank you, Chair and members of the Planning Commission. The subject property is located on the northwest corner of South Delmar Avenue and Main Street. The property is designated light manufacturing, and the land use is light industrial. And what this map here shows is the zoning of the adjacent property. To the south, you have R1 single-family home. East, you have R2 designated properties. North are other M1 zoned properties, and a block out are other R3 zoned properties. And as mentioned, the request tonight includes a general plan amendment, and this is to amend the land use from light manufacturing to high-density residential, and the zoning from M1 to R3 multifamily residence. This is a street view of the property looking north. Just north of the subject site, this is off of Main Street. North of the subject site is the Pacific Railroad, and then also the buildings that are off of Clary. So a little history about the subject property. From 1925 to 1938, the site was vacant. Then it was developed as Mullen Lumber between 1948 to 1989. Then in 1991, the site was operated as an all-aboard self-storage. And around 2011 is when the Alameda Corridor East Construction Authority acquired the property on behalf of the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments. And this is for the Alameda Corridor East, the ACE trench project. Actually, so excuse the typo. Between 2014 to 2018, all the structures were demolished, which is the existing condition of the site, which is currently vacant. And since 2019 to current, the project applicant has been working with the city to evaluate the proposed project that is presented to the Planning Commission this evening. And as a reminder, the action before the Planning Commission is a recommendation to the City Council this evening. It is not the approval or the denial of the project. It is the recommendation of either action to the City Council. This is the proposed project this evening. This is a rendering that is provided by the applicant team. And just a quick summary, the applicant team is available this evening and they do have their own presentation, so staff's not going to get into too much of that detail. But the project site is approximately 70,000 square feet in size, which is a little bit over 1.5 acres in size. The proposed project includes 73 residential apartment units, so these are not for sale. The project will be 100% affordable to seniors, so these will be age and income restricted units. 62 on-grade parking spaces will be provided, so this project does not include major excavation or grading. The project will sit on grade, and open space proposed is approximately 8,700 square feet. The entitlements, as mentioned before, the Planning Commission is the general plan amendment, the zone change, density bonus, and street vacation. And again, it's a recommendation from the Planning Commission to the City Council, and in a precise plan of design to go before the city's Design Review Commission. This is a site plan of the proposed project. The parking is proposed to the east and west of the site. The project includes 2 separate buildings, and in the interior is an open courtyard landscape area, as well as at the corner of Delmar and Main Street. As part of this project, again, it's a density bonus, and the project being at 100% affordable senior project, the applicant, provided by state housing law, can request for incentives or concessions, and 4 requests are being made, which is the additional height for the project design, and then also 5 feet exception on the interior and street side of the setback, where 10 and 15 would be required. The applicant is requesting 5. Also on open space and bedroom size. And also as part of the proposed project, a 12 feet wide street vacation is a part of this project. And so for general plan consistency, it was mentioned a few times this evening, just the goals that have been identified in the city's general plan, specifically the housing element. Land use goals, it's to provide for affordable housing, again, a range of housing types, and then to remove government constraints, and to provide housing opportunities, as well as to create quality housing design. The environmental review was conducted for the project, and the project was found to be exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, per section 21080.4. This one's a little bit more unique from what the Planning Commission would typically see for infill development, which is typically a 32, which is what the commission saw for the last 2 projects. This one is specifically tailored to affordable housing projects that include rezoning. And this law actually went into effect January of this year and will be in place until 2033 under AB 1449. And again, this is as part of encouraging housing developments. Similar to the other projects, public notice of the project was mailed to surrounding properties, owners as well as occupants, and the notice was posted at the project site as well as City Hall, the post office, and the library, and advertised in the San Gabriel Sun. So the recommendation before the Planning Commission is to recommend that the City Council approve GPA 24-001, zone change 24-002, density bonus and street vacation at 405 South Delmar Avenue. And this is to allow a 100% affordable senior housing development subject to the conditions of approval. And this concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you. Questions of staff?
Chair, I have
Go
a
ahead.
clarification and questions.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to understand the who the owner is for this project. Is it the government or is it the private?
Yes, ownership is under the San Gabriel Valley Housing Trust Authority.
Is it in partnership with the city of San Gabriel, or city of San Gabriel doesn't involve at all?
As the lead agency processing the requested project.
Okay. Because there's some fees that it is recommended to waive. It is over $600,000, right? So that's quite a bit of money that the city of San Gabriel has to foot the bill. right? There's quite a bit. So that's my thought process. I'm trying to understand who's behind of it, who's gonna benefit, right? Why are we footing the bill of like $600-something thousand? Okay. I'm excited about the project, to tell you the truth. However, there's some concerns with this project, so I'm gonna save that for later.
I just have a couple of general questions. Interested in the street vacation? That means you're taking 12 feet of the existing street right away.
Yes, that's correct. The width of Main Street currently is 80 feet wide. And there is a state law that if the Public Works Department or the City Council determines that the right-of-way is not necessary for utilities or public use, that the city can authorize a vacation of certain areas.
I assume that would still leave the city or the street navigable and not cause traffic problems?
Yes, it would be a reduction of the requested 12 feet from the 80.
Thank you. The second question, this is just for my own information, I guess. 68 parking spaces, I think, are provided, and there are 73 units. Those numbers don't match.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. The parking requirement for a senior project is 0.75 space per unit. So it is reduced, again, based on the assumption that this is a senior low-income project, and also that the site is close to public transit as well. So just a combination of these three items.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I just quickly, and I'll ask the applicant some follow-up questions, but I just wanted to get on the record, I had a conversation with the city about, and I just want to clarify that Phase 1 and Phase 2 have been done for the project?
Yes, correct. So similar to the other two projects, of Phase 1 and of Phase 2 have been conducted on the project site in recognition of the uses that had been on the property. And also this is identified as an Area 3 area, which the city is aware of. The results of that Phase 1 and Phase 2 report, the project team as well as the San Gabriel Valley Housing Trust Authority is working with the Department of Toxic Substance Control. So all of that information is forwarded to the State Department. They are the reviewing and the approving agency. So that responsibility, the city, that is all a part of the commission and the city council's consideration. However, ultimately reviewing all the data and the mitigation plans and the mitigation requirements for that is determined by the state as far as meeting those requirements.
The state determines whether well, I guess my question is, the report that I read in the recommendations, they did find contamination, and there was also things that were not tested for yet. Will they be required to test for those things? And then also, I mean, what if the state says you don't have to do any mitigation? Well, we would have to get to have some say in that, right? And will it come back to us?
So currently there is a draft work plan that the applicant team is working with the Department of Toxic Substance Control. They can speak to that further this evening, since it's not a finalized plan. That isn't something that staff wants to commit or to speak on behalf of the state, but the analysis on the project site has gotten that far, and the applicant team can provide more information as to the status of that.
All right, thank you.
Okay. I don't have any questions at this point. Anybody else have any other questions? No. Okay. Let us open the public hearing and hear from the applicant, please.
Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, and Commissioners. And thank you very much for letting us speak today. My name is Jennifer Ingaram. And I also want to say a very, very thank you, big thank you to city staff, Ms. Tewasar, the planning manager, and Aldo Cervantes, the director of community development. So I prepared a short presentation right here because this would be our first time working together with the city of San Gabriel. So I wanted to let you guys know who we are. So our company name is Related. We have developed, completed over 20,000 residential units, of which 15,500 plus are affordable units and 3,500 senior affordable units that we've completed. And right now we have about 4,600, give or take, affordable housing units in the pipeline that we are currently developing. In addition to that, we care a lot about design. We've won over 140 design awards, including we are a 2-time recipient of the ULI Global Award for Excellence. We build LEED Platinum. We are an American Living Award winner. We have received Gold Nugget Awards of Merit and Gold Nugget Grand Awards and the Ruby Award as well. All of this is to say is that we have a lot of experience. We have over 34 years of experience in developing affordable housing. So with that, the project location, the planning manager already went over it, but it is currently on 405 South Del Mar. It's currently vacant, and it's an underdeveloped or undeveloped land, really. Related work with the city for many years now, over 3-4 years now, we were chosen through a request for qualifications from the city to build what would be the city's first affordable housing project. And we're very excited about it. And our goal is to build high-quality, affordable senior housing with award-winning design, with a range of affordability to serve vulnerable populations. We want our design to be sustainable. We want our design to fit the neighborhood. And we want robust amenities and services. And we want to make sure that it's secure and safe for our tenants. A little bit more about the project details itself. The rental units will be 100% affordable senior housing. That means for 65 plus years old. And it will be composed of 73 units, 72 units for low-income seniors, and 1 unit for on-site full-time property manager. The unit mix is 11 studios, 52 one-bedrooms, and 10 two-bedrooms. And we have 60 on-site parking spaces. Of the 72 low-income senior units, 50 of them will be set aside for seniors with special needs. And all of the units, except for the manager's unit, all units will be income restricted. I had mentioned earlier that one of our project goals is to provide robust services and amenities. I have a list here of the proposed amenities, which include a fitness center, a community room, outdoor courtyard, on-site laundry facilities, a bike storage or bike storages, community garden, tech room, central heating and AC within each unit, and in-unit Energy Star appliances that we will provide. With that, I'm going to turn it over to my architect from Studio T Squared.
Thank you, Council Member and Commission. We're very, Studio T Squared is very proud to be the design architect of this project. What we are looking at is the urban design or urban character of that neighborhood. So we try to fit the building, the 3-story building, into the existing context of the city and also in that neighborhood. So we use the kind of like the vernacular of Spanish, kind of like a mix of Spanish and Irving Gill inspired building. So it's kind of reflect the architectural character of actually even this neighborhood where the city hall is. So we used some authentic details, and also on the towers, and also on the awnings and the trellises. We try to use just Spanish details, and just put just like these little finishing touches to make the building like higher quality and fits in with the neighborhood. And we also have a nice amenity of the main courtyard, which opens up for the seniors amenity center. So it could be a social space for them to gather And also, we're very proud to be able to, design this 73 unit for affordable senior for the city. Thank you.
Thank you. So that concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Questions? I have some questions, and I'm
Yes.
sure others do.
Yes.
The thing I was trying to figure out when I reviewed the plans, and maybe I wasn't reviewing them, looking at them properly, I was trying to see how long the corridors are from the elevator, the longest walk from an elevator to a unit.
That is a great question. Let me look it up.
Because I'm trying
Go
to
ahead.
see, with seniors bringing in
Right.
groceries and what have you, how far they have to walk from an elevator.
I think it's about, we didn't measure it, but it's about 75 feet, like from the garage to because we locate the elevator in the middle of each of the building. So it's split up, so the senior doesn't need to, walk all the way from one end from the parking to the elevator. So it's in between, so it's about 75 feet.
Okay. And the unit, and the corridors are lit?
The corridor,
Well lit?
yeah, they're all lit, and also they're open from one end to the other, so there's kind of like a breeze that goes through the corridor, so it's not stuffy or conditioned and space.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I was trying to look at what it was gonna be like for seniors to come home
And we
carry,
also put a kind of like where the elevator is. We also make that open it up a little bit, so it becomes kind of like a gathering space at each so each end of the corridor. So there's not it's not like just one big long corridor like a hotel, but there's
Okay.
just some chairs
That's
and
good.
everything.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. Any other questions of the developer? Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I was just going to follow up on my question to staff. I just want to make sure, so what is, I guess, based on the phase 1 and the phase 2, we absolutely want to make sure, if it's contaminated, it can be mitigated, I understand that. I just want to make sure that it is thorough and that the applicant is committed to any of those mitigating measures, whatever they may be, and that I just don't want that particular thing to. I don't want anyone getting sick, and so yeah. And I know that because it's affordable, sometimes you have monetary constraints, but so I want to make sure that you're able to, do all of that mitigation, because I don't know, but I have an inclination there's going to probably be some mitigation.
Right, so thank you very much, Commissioner. That's a really great statement in that we know that the city cares about the residents, and we too care about the residents that eventually come to live in our development. We stay in the project long-term. What that means is that we are also an owner of the project itself. While the land, to answer Commissioner Lee's earlier statement and question, is while the land is currently owned by the San Gabriel Valley Regional Housing Trust, the related companies of California will be ground leasing from the trust, and we will maintain ownership of the structure. And so therefore, we stay in ownership of this structure almost in perpetuity. 55 plus years is how long we stay in the project. So our property managers live on site as well. So we do care very much about any environmental concerns that may be on site on all of our projects, including this one. For 405 South Del Mar specifically, we do recognize what the phase 1 and phase 2 says, and so therefore we voluntarily reached out to DTSC to have conversations to start putting together a work plan so that we can have a plan of action with DTSC, and we're working through that right now. And right now, DTSC has preliminarily approved our work plan. As we do more site investigations, we will come back to DTSC to inform them of our findings and come up with an additional work plan to mitigate the site, if any.
What do those work plans include? Does that mean including additional testing?
Yes.
Okay, and then
Yes.
based on that testing, potentially putting in a vapor
Yes.
barrier and ventilation, things like that?
Absolutely, yes, correct. That is correct. Yes, and they'll be part of the project design itself as we move forward in our construction documents. We will include any mitigations, vapor barriers that are needed in the design so that when we build, the general contractor will follow accordingly.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have questions or comments of this?
Yes, chairs, I have a quick,
Go ahead, please.
quick questions.
Go ahead, Commissioner Lee.
One AC was under constructions. I believe we had a very experience with, I'm not finding the correct words, the finding the bones and all the.
Tribal archaeology,
Okay,
yes.
yeah. So, right, so are you like considering that, or do you have any plans, or do you like work with others, like tribal groups
Yes.
to, to consort and then, find the mitigations or anything like that?
Yes, thank you very much, Commissioner. That's a great question. So as part of this whole process, the city of San Gabriel has done tribal noticing to tribes in the area. And I believe that we have one tribal organization that has responded to the city's noticing, and Related has worked with this tribe many of times. We actually have a couple of projects that I've worked with them personally on in Alhambra and in El Sereno community. So we're very familiar with the tribe and their requirements. So what they do is they monitor during any ground disturbing activities, and we're prepared to do the same thing and work with them as we've always done over the past. I've personally worked with them over the past 6-7 years so far, and it's been great.
Is it one of the conditions that, okay. So what is the street design is going to look like? Because like it's going to be 12 feet street vacation, right? So is it going to be a big bump out there, or what is the street design going to be look like?
It's going to be the street design. We basically want like pushing the sidewalks out. So it's going to be this kind of like this. We're going to maintain the entire street. That's just what is current. Except the street is going to be narrower, but the sidewalk will be kind of like pushed out to like by 12 feet, and then our building will be pushed out accordingly. So it will be like a 5-foot setback for our building, and then additional 12 feet for the sidewalk. So it's going to be still pretty wide sidewalk. It's not going to be like the sidewalks basically is going to be about the same as we have now, but the street is, because the street is, we take it out of the street, so the street will be 12 foot narrower than the 80 feet.
So the street would be 12 foot
By the-
narrower by the project.
Yeah.
Right, so, and then at the end, or at the beginning of the project, the streets open up,
Yeah.
right? So we gotta take care of that transition right there, like what is it going to be, like is it safe? That's what I mean, like is it gonna be a safe design?
Yeah, I mean, we'll all the kind of like safety measure will be taken care of.
Okay, thank you. When I was looking at your plans, knowing that this is going to be a senior homes, right? There will be, the residents going to be limited mobility, you can expect that it comes with age, right? But I don't see on-street like a blue parking or blue like a dropping off zone.
There is a
Disabled, handicap, like a dropping off zone or something like that.
There is a drop-off zone right in front of the, like, see where the bicycle is? That's where we have a dugout
There you have only one cutout, right? You
Yeah,
have
right
only
in-
one cutout.
in the middle.
But I don't see there is a curved cat that you can like, roll up the
wheelchair?
curb ramps or wheelchairs or anything like that. But you only have one cutout,
Yeah, right.
right? But usually is like, if you have a cutout, yes, you can pull in. However, the wheelchair has to make all the way around to get on the sidewalk. You know what I mean, right? So it would be suggestions, Samantha, like to require a couple, since this is a senior homes, right? We are expecting quite a few of a limited mobility residents gonna be there, right? So with the ramp, with the cutout, that would be good for the design.
Yeah, we could add that like as part of our like.
Thank you. So I just want to follow up with Commissioner Sean's comment about the toxic material. Sometimes we tend to overlook because of the demographic that we are serving, right? So I will emphasize what Sean said about, like making sure it is safe for the residents, right? Please don't overlook the toxicity if it is there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll definitely take that into account and make sure that it's well within livable standards for sure.
Anyone else have questions or comments, questions for the applicant team? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, this is public comment period. Anybody else have any public comments?
So I live in that area.
Did you fill out a form?
I did not.
Okay, afterwards, would you do one?
That's fine.
And return it to the,
That's fine. So I live in the area, and my concern is
And
the
your
park.
name and
My name
address,
is,
please.
sorry, my name is Estela Garcia. I live on 206 West Angelino, which is only 1 block away. My concern is that what Commissioner Sean mentioned about the parking situation, and now as I hear that the street is going to be narrowed, I'm concerned about the traffic, the limited parking, and I know that I go visit, or I used to go visit my parents, so the kind of congestion this is going to create, both getting into that street as well as getting out of that street, basically the traffic, the noise that's going to be made because of this.
thank you. Please fill out one of those forms in the back and give it to the clerk. You want to speak also?
Yes, but I didn't fill out the form.
We'll fill in one afterwards, please.
Sorry for not dressing properly, but I didn't think about to speak today. But after seeing the project, I will have some
Name and
comments.
address,
Yeah,
please.
my name is Stephen Chen. I live on 120 East Main Street. So that's like 70 feet from the project. So 2 years ago, I saw them trying to raise the money. So I know they are trying to build something over there already, but I didn't think about that would be that quickly. So my concern is, I didn't hear anybody talk about the railroad. Will this be a perfect place for senior affordable housings, for seniors to live in when there is a railroad right next to it, even though it's underground? But every time the train goes, the house is shaking. I don't know if anybody noticed that. So another concern is the parking concerns, and how long does a project take, the noise, the construction period, and another question I want to know the answer today is that, will this senior affordable housing, are they for sale or for rental only?
For rental only.
for rental only? Or would that go through a government application status, or it was 100% controlled by whoever the founder is? So who determined the applications for the tenants?
Yes, so as far as taking in the required documentation to prove of the income and of the age, that would begin with the development team, and there is a requirement that they share that information with the city to confirm that, but it is a requirement of the project that that information be taken in as part of the review of occupancy on the site.
Okay, thank you. So my last question is, like, if we file something against this, will that work, or is
What
okay?
are you asking?
Like, if we don't want to approve the projects?
So
What
this,
do we do
this
afterwards?
hearing here tonight is for the planning commission to make a recommendation to the city council. So it's not an appealable action, but the item would then go to the city council for their decision on whether or not to approve or deny, and you'll be able to speak at that hearing as well.
Okay, all right.
And similar to this, you'll receive a notice again on that meeting.
Okay, on that one. Okay, thank you.
I want to speak to, can you translate for me? Because I
That's
don't
my
have,
mom, sorry.
yeah, that's my son. I live 120 East Main Street. Just, if walking, maybe just 1 minute. So, Mr. Lee, you speak Chinese too? Yeah, so
Your name, please?
my name is Jennifer. My last name is S-U-N Sun. Jennifer Sun,
Okay,
yeah.
so what is your question? or
Yeah,
comment?
I want to know, so I heard, understand a little bit, so you said that you want the building this one for senior, right? So how about 118 West Mission Road? Please check this address. When I move Singapore, I heard it says 118 West Mission Road, says a senior area, usually senior live inside. But I know right now, because I have a lot of times go inside, but I see no senior inside. But I don't know what it is, a government or just a personal for rent. So today I heard there's a building for senior, but I can't believe after only senior live inside. I don't know if it's rent or government pay but I just confused. Maybe after building this apartment, maybe not a senior live inside. Maybe have a lot of
This,
people,
are you
no
talking about this
senior.
project?
Yeah, I just worry here.
This project is not gonna, is a senior building. They said there's a.
I think what my mom means, like, she has experienced other senior facilities that maybe their child or friends have been living in there and nobody cares.
I don't believe there are other senior
Yeah.
projects that the
You
city has been
believe only
involved in.
senior live inside? Because 118 West Mission Road, before I heard that as a senior area, but I go inside, no senior live inside. So I just worry if I have a lot of people live inside, I just worry there's safe around this area, there's safety. You know, right now, we care safety #1, right? Yeah,
Right,
that's
but that's,
safety.
but if you listen to the developer's presentation, they've done a lot of senior buildings. This is not the first one that the developer is going to do that's 100% senior building. And that's exactly what this project will be. It won't change for 55 years.
让你相信他们就行了。
Right.
他说肯定要
Also,
住
also
新
another comment on the parking stuff, because I saw that vacant land for multiple years already. with the design as that parking, especially for seniors, it's not 75 feet. So it can take them a long time to walk back to their units. So to be on my final comment is I don't think this is we can change the zonings maybe to like condominium projects, to like other regular residential projects, but I have no confidence for this to being a senior affordable housing project for this location. Final comments.
So,
All right, thank you.
no. So since
Other speakers? Okay, have we filled out forms, please?
Reparking, so that's the building is the parking,
Go ahead.
under the apartment
Hard to call
or
it-
to
it's
the
hard to
outside?
call it-
It's on
Let me
street,
just-
on street.
On street,
Hold on.
so the no under, right?
Sit down, please.
Okay.
You're done. Sit down, please. For Jackie to be able to call you up one by one, you need to fill out a form, turn it into her, so that she can call you up. Marlon, do you have a form for this, for her?
I think she has another person that she would like to have a form for.
Who else would like to speak on this item? Please. Have you filled out a form? Give it to.
I have to fill it out. I apologize for my tardiness here. Yes, my name is Manuel Orozco. I live at 114 West Angelino Avenue. I lived there since 1972 as a child. I bought the house for my parents in 1982. I propose this project here is, like the lady said, is it's too much traffic, too much consumption of our natural resource, which is water, that we need to conserve, along with the rest of the projects that are going in San Gabriel. Another thing too is that train still makes a lot of noise and vibration in the ground. So I don't see how a senior could actually tolerate that. There's seniors that live on East Main, and I have friends that live there, and they cannot tolerate that noise, that they have to move out. So I oppose this project 100%. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there other speakers about this project? Start with their name and address.
My name is Marta Estela Wizard. My address is 131 West Angelino Avenue. So I live in this area for too many years, so I look, it's too many houses in this small place. Y estamos viviendo en una área donde solamente nos permiten construir el 35%. Y
They only allow us to construct on our property 35%.
Y estamos mirando que van a construir 73 viviendas.
And we're going to see that they're going to construct 73
Is it done?
houses.
¿Y dónde se van a estacionar las personas que van a visitar a los seniors?
Where are the people who are going to come to visit going to park?
Y vivimos en un área cerca del tren donde miramos que va a ser un problema para los seniors.
Since this location is so close to the train, how are the seniors going to be living there with the noise?
That's all.
Thank you. Can you please come up and address two issues?
Chair,
Yes.
Chair Schwartz, I'm sorry to interject. I have one more public comment. It was emailed, and they have 17 questions. So I'm sure Jennifer might want to address some of this too. May I?
Oh, I'm sorry.
So this comes from Alfred and Ronald Escamilla. They're residents, and they don't support the project, and they have 17 or so questions.
Okay.
First, is there a study to determine the potential cancerous effects of the project residents from exposure to exhaust pollution from the trains passing continuously next to the complex. 2, there was a lumber yard on the projected site which had underground fuel storage tanks for its delivery trucks. The site was operational for several decades, from the early to late 1900s. Has the city completed a toxicity test of the land on the project site to determine if the land is safe for its proposed low-income and elderly residents? 3, traffic congestion on San Gabriel Boulevard has become overwhelming, especially during the morning and afternoon rush hours. Additionally, the construction projects, either in process or planned on San Gabriel Boulevard, will only make the issue more horrific. This has and will cause additional traffic on Delmar Avenue as an alternate to San Gabriel Boulevard. Has the city studied the effects of an additional 73-unit complex on Delmar Avenue traffic, and does it have a plan to mitigate the congestion? If so, are these studies findings available for public view? If historical artifacts and/or skeletal remains associated with a mission or indigenous tribes are found with the construction project, will the construction project be halted? Is the 73-unit complex a private or private endeavor? Combination. How much is the project going to cost? How much of these costs are going to be borne by the city and the residents of San Gabriel? How much is it going to cost the city for the 73-unit complex on added police, fire, sewer, and other city services? Who will be responsible for the added cost to support this complex? Once constructed, is the city going to be responsible for any of the daily operational costs of the project? What is the minimum age requirement for any occupant to reside at the complex? How will this be enforced? What is the income level to be able to reside at the complex? The addition of 73 units on Main Street will overwhelm street parking. Has any study been done to determine the impact on Main Street parking and its effect on Main Street residences? Currently, such a situation exists with the churches, temples on Mission Drive and Euclid Avenue. There are days that residents cannot park their cars on the surrounding streets because all the parishioners have taken over the street parking. We do not want this to occur on Main Street. Will each of the 73 units have 2 car garage parking? If not, what will be the on-site parking arrangements for these units? How many on-site visitor parking spaces will be available? Does this meet any and all applicable city, county, and state requirements? What will be done if a unit needs more parking than what is available? How is the city going to enforce and keep the complex residents or guests from parking on Main Street? During the construction of the project, will all vehicles, equipment, loading and offloading of material and equipment be done on site and not on Main Street? Undertaking it on the street could cause safety issues to residents, autos, and pedestrian traffic. Will Main Street or other surrounding streets be closed to residents, autos, and pedestrian traffic anytime during the construction of the project? What measures is the city going to take to ensure the complex is maintained and meets all safety requirements over time and doesn't become an eyesore like other buildings in the city? Will the project have covered enclosures for trash containers? Will the project be developed to allow trash trucks to enter the complex to pick up the containers on site and not on Main Street? This will prevent Main Street from looking like Live Oak Street east of Delmar Avenue on their collection day with trash scattered on the street. That's it.
All right, well, first of all.
Let me ask you about 2
yes.
specific things.
Yes.
One is parking for visitors, and the second is train noise, even though the train goes underground.
Yes, thank you very much for those 2 questions, Chair. And let me start off with the parking. So as I have mentioned earlier, we've built a number of senior projects. And what we found in our experience is that seniors don't park to a 1-to-1 ratio. So the fact that we have 60 available spots with 72 units, really, typically 50% of the residents will have vehicles, so that's 31 vehicles. That leaves another, call it 28 spaces available, and we will have space for guests and handicap, as well as a resident service coordinator and staff as well. So that should be ample parking based on not just our experience, but also with the city's code, which is also a 0.5 parking ratio. So we anticipate that parking on site will not be an issue based on our experience. And the second question is about the railroad, which is a valid concern, and I appreciate the public comments that we've gotten and your concern as well. And we've looked into this very extensively. Fortunately, the Alameda Corridor had the foresight to, because the railroad used to be on grade, right? So they brought it down, and so that does help to mitigate the sound. But more importantly, the project itself, the windows that we choose and the materials that we choose will help to mitigate any noise or any vibrations, if you will. And we've done noise studies to make sure that the windows that we choose will be of proper STCs and ratings that is not just livable, but comfortably livable for residents.
Right, yeah. It looked like from the plans, they're mill guard windows.
Yes, mill guard windows, correct. Double pane mill guard windows.
All right, thank you. Were there other comments that were not, that in that letter that we need to address? Having not seen the letter.
Chair, I would like to have the answer for who's gonna foot the bill, like if there's a problems arises, or like what is mentioned in the letter.
That's a great question. So this is an affordable housing project that will be built with tax credit dollars. So let me just go back to the fact that we know that it's going to be for seniors because there's going to be a regulatory agreement that says that this needs to be for seniors for at least 55 years and probably beyond that. But in terms of how the project will be operated and managed, it's going to be managed by Related Management Company, who is an arm of the developer owner Related. And typically, we don't go back to the city to ask the city for any funds for operations. And the project needs to be sustainable and be able to stand on its own 2 feet. And the cash flow that we generate would be able to sustain the project. We have operating reserves, we have replacements reserve to make sure that the maintenance of the projects, not just facade, but inside and outside, it lasts. That's why we build sustainable products with sustainable products. And then we make sure that we have enough operationally to cover any maintenance issues that may come about. On top of that, closer to construction completion, what we normally do is we come up with a maintenance plan that the city is more than welcome to take a look at and opine on the maintenance plan that we propose.
Okay. Another question that was asked by the members of the community: what age is a senior for this project?
That's a great question. So right now, it really depends on all the funding sources, whether it's a tax credit or other state sources that we're going to apply for this project. But typically, it is 65 and better. So 65 is probably the minimum age that we will look forward to.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Were there other questions that were in that letter? I think we've addressed most of those questions.
Just to follow up on what
Go ahead.
Commissioner Schwartz asked. Just curious, just out of curiosity, what was the rationale for making it age restricted as opposed to just open to any person who fit the low income level?
That's a great question. So I think as we've been working with the city of San Gabriel, especially the development, Aldo Cervantes, the director of development, and we talked about in ad nauseam about what type of affordable housing target population the city would like to see. And we've conducted a community needs assessment that we forwarded over to the city staff as well. And it showed that based on all the surveys, that the need for seniors is right up there, affordable housing for seniors. And so especially given this is the city's first affordable housing site, as we worked with the staff, we both agreed that having a senior affordable site is probably one of the first projects that we should be working on to meet the demands of the city.
Chair, if I may, I would like to hear from the architect, what would it take to get 73 parking spots?
But to get 73 parking spot, we will have to reduce which we don't really want to do, is to reduce the main courtyard. So just basically move the two buildings inwards. So you get like probably like, probably like 10 foot on either side. So you lose 20 foot in the courtyard, the main square. So about 20 to 25 feet. So to accommodate more parking.
So now we are talking about common space, green space versus parking spots, right?
Yeah. So because the senior, it's our opinion that the seniors don't need that much parking space, but they need more common space for for gathering and stuff like that. So that's why we chose to make basically we are above the parking requirement for the city already, and then to make 73 spot, we will have to sacrifice some open space, which is kind of like the trade-off between the more parking and more open space.
Can Samantha, can you clarify what's the requirements factor for the parking? Is it 0.75 or 0.5?
0.75.
0.75. So that will comes down to 57.
55 spaces.
55 spaces required by the city requirements.
So right now we're at 0.85.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You've already spoken.
Your speakers are allowed a 3-minute comment period. It's not a question and answer period. I would recommend if you have further questions after the meeting, you can contact the city's planning department, and they can probably assist you with those. And as we mentioned before, there will be another hearing before the city council where you can bring your additional concerns or repeat the concerns you had tonight. That's regardless of whether the commission votes to recommend or not recommend. It'll still go to the council either way.
All right. Thank you. All right, we'll close the public hearing and have staff discussion. I want to start by saying one thing about parking. From my own, I used to do private-public development partnerships when I was working professionally. And we did a senior project with a nonprofit developer in Monterey Park. And it was next in front of the library, next to City Hall. So I saw it all the time. And I made sure that there was one parking space for every unit in the senior building. And because I saw it all the time, you know what I saw? Empty parking lots. Most of the time, the parking lots were 75% empty. When you try to make one parking space per unit for a senior project, you have a lot of parking lots that are empty. So something that's at 0.85 with seniors and for visitors. I think would be, just from a parking standpoint, from my professional experience, would be perfectly, I'm telling you, I believe it's perfectly adequate. For whatever other issues we have, or you may have, parking, I don't think should be one of them. So, that's just my experience. And beyond that, certainly this is an interesting project. I think we're lucky, I'll just go first. I think we're quite fortunate to have a developer who knows what they're doing in a senior building and has developed, as I said, in Alhambra as well as other cities in the Los Angeles County area, probably, and that they responded to a city request for qualifications and have stuck with the project. So, and as we know, projects are hard to build right now because of funding costs. And so to have the project like this in front of us for 73 seniors, 72 unit senior project, that is, you know, if you looked at the plans, it's completely well designed. There's lots of landscaping being put in, and as they described, a lot of amenities for the residents. I understand concerns about the fact that the site might have some problems, but the fact that they've taken the initiative and gone to DTSC as a starting point and proposed some, you know, mitigation for them to look at is something that should make people feel a little more comfortable. That it's not a case of head in the sand. People are going in with I think with clear-eyed vision of not only what those issues might be, but what it's going to take to make this project successful. And they're going to stay with it for 55 years. They're not in and out. And that's another thing that I think is comforting from my standpoint, that we've got somebody who is with us, with our community for the long term. So I understand that there are some concerns on different sides, but I think they can be mitigated, and I think that developers taking steps to mitigate those issues. And I think as a project, it would be a plus for our community, and it's easy for me at this juncture to be comfortable recommending to the council that they approve the project. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is in my view, really a once, I don't know if a lifetime, but a decades opportunity to build something on a piece of land that has been underdeveloped and typically underutilized for a really good purpose. We absolutely need more housing, and I know that there are folks that have legitimate reasons for not wanting to see their neighborhoods developed. I understand that. This is actually, it's not just a housing issue anymore. In my opinion, it's an ethical issue, especially when it comes to affordable housing. we are way, way behind on the mandated number of affordable housing units we need in our city, and that's a big problem. And it's not just San Gabriel, it's basically every city in the state. And folks of all incomes deserve to have a place to live. They deserve that dignity. And in terms of the money, and the city subsidizing it with taxpayer dollars, I'm fine with that. These projects are expensive, and they are not like a private development where they are expecting to make a certain amount of profit above and beyond. There are these projects, especially this one, it's specifically for, it's 100%, it's specifically for a segment of society that is in desperate need of housing, and they're providing that at an affordable rate, and to make enough income to support all of that and the people that will be helping the seniors at this facility. So I understand, I get, people say, well, how are you using my tax dollars? I think this is a worthy thing to use tax dollars on, and I hope we bring more affordable housing unit projects to the city. But the fact of the matter is, land is so limited, and this is such a prime opportunity where it is to do something good and important. I just, in my opinion, it outweighs, and I'm not diminishing any of the concerns from anyone around there. Everyone has a right to live in a neighborhood, in an area that they prefer, but we have to take care of everyone, all of us, and I think we're an inclusive city. And I think this will actually beautify the area. I'm looking at this. It's kind of a vacant lot right now. And I think that this looks to me like it would actually make that area of land look much better than what it currently does, sitting there kind of empty. So I do support my one concern, and I made it already early on, was the contamination has to be properly mitigated. And I trust that the applicant here is committed to doing that. They said they are. I'm going to hold them to that. But I want to see, this project's been years in the works. I really want to see it happen. And I think it can happen. And I think it can happen in a way that it benefits the neighborhood, and it does not decrease anyone's home values. It does not increase anyone's, I can't think of the word right now, but I don't think you're going to, your ability to be happy at where you live is going to decrease at all.
Quality of life.
Quality of life, thank you, Commissioner Schwartz. So I would ask everyone to, please continue to bring your concerns forward, but also to keep an open mind and also work with the city and the developers to address your concerns. I don't think they're unsympathetic to your concerns, and I think that they will be willing to try to address them. So that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you.
Chair,
Go ahead, Commissioner Lee.
I just want to address point by point in the recommendations. We are amending to the general plans, right? So, and then changing the zones from M1 to C3.
R3.
R3. So the choices that we have in front of us is whether we want to keep the general plan and the zone as is, and having a manufacturing facility there, or do we want to add housings to our general community, right? That's a point, right? Whether we want to see a manufacturing facility there that look nothing like what we are seeing on the screen, right? We would still face the problem with the parking if the employee showed up, right? And then all the customers or whatever, right? It's all trucks, delivery trucks, and so on. So that is the choices that we have to make in front of us. Another thing that we have to look at is the density bonus that we have to be given in, right? It comes with, I know there is a very limited space for the architecture to come up with this, building plans. One thing that concern to me is that the 5 feet setback in the back, because there is a fence, and then the back of your building is 5 feet away from the fence, right? So that is very tight space for emergency exits. And also for the firefighters or with the equipment, to go in there and to do the rescue work if they have to. So if you can increase that space, I totally understand the limited space that you're working with, but if you can increase that from 5 feet to, larger space, that would be great. Street vacations. That is part of what we are considering in front of us today. So 12 feet of a street vacation that the public right-of-way will be given up to the private developer, right? That is a lot of land. However, we have to be inconsiderate about what is the benefit bringing to the community, right? So the question that I asked earlier was, what's going to be the street design? Is it going to be safe, right? Is it going to be beautiful enough to make it, to blend into the community, right? The architecture says, he already looked at it, it will be safe, it will be beautiful, right? So that is the choices that we have in front of us. I know there's a concern about who's going to be footing the bills. Developer said that the city is not going to be footing the bills, right? Am I correct? Right? But that usually is not the case, right? But whatever you said, like we hear you, it is go on the record, right? So at the end is what I still have a questions to think about it is that the toxic material and the experience that we had when we built the ACE constructions, right, that work with the tribal groups. So if you can guarantee that, I am in support of the project.
Thank you. Vice Chair, Commissioner Carney, either of you.
I'm going to reluctantly support this project, and I emphasize the reluctantly. I think there are too many questions that I have not heard satisfactorily answered. I think, however, that because this is not the final decision and that there will be time for input to the City Council, that perhaps some of these issues can be addressed. As I say, it will be a reluctant support.
I'm going to follow up with George here because I think the concerns that were brought up have merit. That area, that existing street is kind of wide, so the street doesn't bother me all that much. But there's that area is, to the south, is all single-family homes. So you're going to build this gigantic building right next to it. It's going to loom over the whole neighborhood. The trains, I don't think the window's going to have too much of an impact there because the vibration will go right through the ground and everything else. It doesn't just come through the window. So, but that's something that the resident's going to have to decide in weighing whether or not they want to live there. That's their decision to make. We have to build, 3,500 houses or units, and this helps us towards that. And we got to put them somewhere. This field is currently lying fallow. It's been lying fallow for a long time. It's to your point, if you put manufacturing there, I don't know that it would be all that welcome there either. I guess as the local residents would prefer a park or a green strip there or something like that that would be more pleasant. But again, we got to put these houses somewhere, and it's lying fallow. I do like that the utilities are all going to be underground. So if you look at the skyline there, you've got a bunch of telephone poles and stuff like that. All that stuff's going underground for part of the development. So that's going to improve your sight line, your skyline, that kind of thing. So there are pluses to it, but there are sort of concerns to having this. And I guess the city council can figure that out. We're just volunteers here, so. So I will also reluctantly support it, but I think there are questions that need to be answered between now and then, like traffic mitigation, stuff like that. So I didn't see a traffic study in here, and I didn't see a requirement for one, although there is requirements for traffic control. So I'm not sure. But usually there's some kind of traffic study.
Yes, Chairman and members of the commission, just as a quick response, what is unique about this project, again, and what the commission typically sees is when a project is a mixed-use development and there is a commercial component where there is a lot of activity and it's a more intensive use, and there is a greater demand on circulation, on parking. Again, if it's a commercial project, as mentioned by Commissioner Lee, there will be commercial requirements. When it's a mixed-use project, then there is even a more demanding requirement. When it's market rate for sale units, there are more demanding parking and traffic requirements. Again, in this case, it is not only income restricted, but it's age restricted. It's a housing development. It meets the parking requirement. The project was reviewed generally under the ITE standards, and it was found to not be anywhere near threshold limits. But
What is ITE?
oh, I'm sorry, the International Traffic Engineering Manual.
Okay. I learned something. Okay. Okay, so I move to approve.
Wait. Before we make a motions, can I ask the architect one last questions about the vibrations? Is there any remedy that you're hearing about the vibrations to the building? Is there any remedy that you can do to kind of mitigate that?
Well, we probably need to to do a measure on what the vibration is to begin with, like what's the how to mitigate it, like what STC rating that we need for the trains, the train to go to the underground, and then also it'll need probably a low study to do that, but usually it's basically it may be like the window systems, the wall, like the construction of the walls, and also some of the construction of the building pad, where the building sits on. So we need to do some study on that. If we really want to mitigate the all the vibration out of the building.
How complicated it is and then how costly it is?
It's, we don't know because we never have to, we do it for seismic, like earthquake-proof the building. So I think that's because most of residential buildings, like single-story family homes, are not designed for seismic. These will be designed for seismic. It will be engineered for earthquakes. So that I think that in itself can mitigate some of the vibration already. And then additionally, the window systems and the wall system will kind of like will make it like it's not going to be as bad as like if you're in a single-family home, because it's all those engineering we're going to be putting into this building.
Thank you. I think the vibration that you mentioned about the seismic, structurally sound for the seismic is a little different than what we are talking about here, right? What we are talking about here is the vibrations that will causes alarm to the residents, right? It is not the seismic structure for the seismic that handle the earthquake, right? So I guess like
See, the train is actually going underground, right? So
Yes,
whatever
next-
the sound the train gets is going to be transmitted through the. It's not above grade anymore. It's underground, so the sound from the train will be transmitted through the ground. So that's kind of similar to that idea.
Okay, yes. So that's my question to you is like based on your experience, how likely it is when the train passes by, how likely it is the vibration is gonna cause a senior out of the bed?
I don't think the senior is going to get knocked off the bed because it's.
Okay, thank you.
Let me amplify that. I live 2 blocks south of that trench. I live in San Gabriel Village. I can tell you that every time a train goes through that trench, we do feel it. It's not dangerous. It's not going to knock me out of my bed, but you do feel it every time a train goes through.
Okay, there we go. So is there any remedies or anything like that?
We'll have to discuss with the developer on if you want to reduce it completely, it's going to be like an expensive effort. But if you can mitigate it, 50%, 75% or something, it'll be doable.
Would you mind looking into it?
Yeah, we could look into it. We could study it with engineers.
Thank you.
Yes, Vice Chair Kratman, just a quick clarification because it's important. The ITE is the Institute of Transportation Engineers, and this is the manual 11th edition, 2021.
I'm just going to add, I know that this won't be the first project that's built, housing project that's built next to the railroad trench. I see them up and down Mission, all the way through Alhambra. One of my really good friends actually had was renting an apartment it was an ADU that was on top of a storage facility in Alhambra that was even closer to the railroad tracks than this. Railroad tracks come, train comes, yeah, you hear it. Was there any movement? There was minimal, slight. I had slept there. It was never an issue. I think they had the windows in there, like they're going to put in. I personally, it was just something that didn't bother me. And I know there's noise ordinances, so they're not, they can't be tooting their horn at certain times. But yeah, it's just part of living next to it, and it's part of living into a city. But from my personal experience, it did not bother me, and it was very, very close to the train trench, closer than this. But to me, that is if the exchange is 70 plus units of affordable housing, I think that is outweighs it for me in terms of any if there's any kind of danger, then yes, it needs to be addressed. But as I said, there's units up and down the trench there. So this is not going to be the first one.
Thank you. Vice Chair, do you want to go back to your motion?
Yes, I move to approve.
I'll second.
Chair Schwartz,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kratman,
Yes.
Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
Commissioner McMorris,
Yes.
and Commissioner Carney.
Yes.
Well, vote is 5-0, motion passed.
Thank you. Congratulations. All right. Next is comments from the planning manager.
Yes, Chair and members of the commission, seeing that the next meeting is October 14th, that will be after the city's annual Dumpling and Beers event, which is on Friday, October 4th, and that is between 6 and 10 p.m. Tickets are out for sale at the moment, I believe, for early bird purchasing. Again, this is an annual event. It's San Gabriel's take on the Oktoberfest. Ticket purchase is only necessary for the beer garden. Otherwise, the event is open to the public for purchasing at the food booths as well as the food trucks. It is a family event. And again, it's open, and tickets only required for the beer garden. And that's it, Chair.
Thank you. All right. Any comment from planning staff? Planning, from the commissioners, excuse me. All right. We will, in that case, adjourn the planning commission meeting to the regular meeting, planning commission meeting on Monday, October 14th at 6:30 here.